Thank you very much, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, Justice Handler, and other distinguished jurists, members of our highest court here today, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to salute Chief Justice Robert Wilentz for his long service and distinguished career in public life. I know I speak for all the people in New Jersey in wishing the Chief well and thanking him for giving so much of himself for the service of this great state. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will see history made. In a few moments, when Justice Coleman administers the oath of office to the new Chief Justice, I urge you to listen very carefully. The soft sounds you hear in the background will be yet another glass ceiling being broken. Deborah. Deborah Tobias Poritz will become the first woman to serve as Chief Justice of the New Jersey State Supreme Court. While that is a distinction of which she can be proud, her greater distinction is the reputation she has earned and the ability, experience, and wisdom that I know she will bring to this court. I'd like to reflect for a moment on her already remarkable career. It's just 20 years since Debbie Poritz came to work in state government as a summer law clerk. A year later, upon graduating from the University of Pennsylvania Law School, she was named Deputy Attorney General in the Department of Law and Public Safety. Over the course of the following 13 years, she was entrusted with positions of ever-increasing responsibility, ultimately serving as Governor Kane's chief counsel in the final years of his administration, final year. In 1990, Debbie left public service for a private career, but that didn't last very long. One of the first decisions that I made after becoming governor was to ask her to serve as the state's Attorney General. General Poritz has distinguished herself and her department by the outstanding nature of her service. Now, with the full confidence of the elected representatives of the people of the state of New Jersey, Deborah Tobias Poritz will take her place on the highest court of this state. She will sit with 6 colleagues who are as capable, committed, and competent as any jurist sitting on any bench in any state in this nation. She will add to the luster and the reputation that this court enjoys. And she will continue to uphold the tradition of fairly and impartially administering justice for the people of the state of New Jersey. The great American jurist Louis Brandeis wrote, "Our government is the portent, the omnipresent teacher. For good or for ill, it teaches people by its example." We are fortunate in New Jersey to have a person of Debbie Poritz's caliber as an outstanding example of what a judge should be. I know she will be an outstanding Chief Justice. That's why I'm proud to ask Justice Coleman to come up and administer the oath of office to the new Chief of the New Jersey Supreme Court, Deborah Poritz.
Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, state your full name, please.
I, Deborah Tobias Poritz,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
of Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey,
of Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Audience, please rise and congratulate.
Governor Whitman, Attorney General Designate Peter Venero, Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, Associate Justice Paul Rudman of the Maine Supreme Court, my cousin who has come a long way to be with us, state and federal judges, cabinet members, legislative leaders, other dignitaries, family, and friends. I am here today because of many people, which is another way of saying I have thanks to give in full measure. To Governor Whitman for giving me 2 extraordinary opportunities, more than most people ever get in a lifetime. For knowing that as Attorney General, I would serve best if independent and nonpartisan. For having faith in my ability to be Chief Justice. For her friendship, her humor, and her strength, and because of her love for the state and its people. To my husband, for his support and his patience, and his willingness to let me find my way. To my children and my grandchildren, for the joy and in pride. To my parents no longer here, who nurtured me and believed in me and taught me to strive for excellence. To the family, friends, teachers, lawyers, and judges who have taught me to care for others and to practice my profession. To the men and women of the Department of Law and Public Safety who have committed themselves to public service and taught me that a bureaucracy, at its best, helps and protects people. Thank you. Not many days ago, Attorney General Designate Peter Venero and I were honored to be confirmed by the Senate in the lovely chamber just down the hall. Today, in this historic and beautiful room, where ordinarily the Assembly meets, and in the presence of members of the communities that make up our state government, we are honored to be sworn to office. I am delighted that here I will shortly administer the oath of office to Peter Venero, for we have come to know one another over the past 2.5 years, and I know him to be a man of honor. He will be a great Attorney General. I am mindful, in this room filled with cabinet members, legislators, judges, representatives of the bar, and so many others who are or have been a part of our state system of laws, that we today honor the office of Chief Justice, the office of Attorney General. In this room, which resonates with our past, we cannot help but remember those who have come before us, those who in serving have carried out their responsibilities so that the office each held is further defined by their work, so that the office each held takes on an added dignity and meaning with their names. From Chief Justice Vanderbilt to the present, we celebrate the continuity of office, the legacy of the past. It is fitting, then, that we pause to pay tribute to Chief Justice Wilentz, to offer our prayers in his battle with illness. His premature departure from the court is our loss. His courage, his dignity, his integrity has given meaning to the office of Chief Justice and set a standard that follows in the highest tradition of excellence. In all he wrote, his deep concern for the people of New Jersey infused his sense of the law and gave it meaning. We do not have to agree with each of his opinions to see the body of his work and the court system he administered as exemplars of a great and compassionate intelligence. Indeed, I follow a long line of judicial leadership that is synonymous with excellence in a system that sets an example for other states. Nearly 50 years ago, with the Constitution of 1947, New Jersey established a modern court system, a simplified court system designed to avoid the jurisdictional controversies which squandered resources and delayed justice, a flexible court system which permits the assignment of judges in accordance with their talents and experience and the needs of those who use our courts, a strong court system that has the authority to perform its duties, to administer itself, and to establish rules for practice and procedure in the courts. This system, easily taken for granted by those of us who never practiced law under any other, was revolutionary at the time, lauded then as America's best. It still deserves that praise, in great part because of those who have continued to shape and reform the great experiment of the 1947 Constitution. Today, we have a unified court system funded by the state to ensure one standard of justice throughout New Jersey. It is, however, a system that has grown enormously over these 19 years. In the 1979-1980 court year, 650,000 cases were filed in Superior Court. In the 1994-1995 court year, over 1 million cases were filed. It is a system that is attacking this and other problems as they arise. In 1995, a second committee on efficiency was appointed. Top corporate executives had looked at our courts to give us advice about the use of solid business management techniques in the face of this caseload growth. Today, client complaints against attorneys and disciplinary proceedings to resolve those complaints are open to the public, ensuring greater public confidence in our system of justice. Today, our courts are confronting gender and racial bias through the Supreme Court committees on women in the courts and minority concerns. We have the executive and the judicial branches work together to improve the handling of domestic violence complaints and to implement Megan's Law. These are substantial accomplishments. Some are just beginning to bear fruit. More needs to be done. As I undertake the duties and responsibilities of this office of Chief Justice, as I look at where we have been, at what my predecessors have accomplished, I am cognizant of my place in this history and of the tasks that lie ahead. I will do my best to live up to the high standards of those who have come before me, to continue the work of those and to mark new paths, always with the goal of serving the citizens of this state through the finest judicial system in the country. Our first Chief Justice said, in simple terms, what we are about. Men inevitably have disputes, and it is one of the great functions of the courts to adjudicate them according to law. This is termed the administration of civil justice. Men also commit offenses against the laws provided for the protection of all of us. And at the suit of the state, the courts pass on the question of their guilt and enforce the law against any wrongdoers in an effort to protect society. This we call the administration of criminal justice. He asked us, of what value is a civil right under a contract or a piece of property, or even the right to life itself, if its owner cannot enjoy it because of some breakdown in the enforcement of the criminal law? Of what real worth are the fundamental rights guaranteed by our federal and state constitutions if they cannot be enforced in a fair trial? I found these same truths in an essay written by a 5th grader in the Trenton school system for a contest sponsored by the Committee on Minority Concerns of the Mercer Vicinage in response to the question, why do you want to be a judge? The reason I would like to be a judge is because judges help to keep our community safe. They make the world a safer place. In the courtroom, judges make sure that the defendant gets a fair trial, no matter what their religion or culture is. This is the wisdom of children. Let us never forget it. Chief Justice Vanderbilt also said that faith in government and respect for the law is essential to the preservation of democratic and representative government. I share his belief.
I'd now like to ask our brand new Chief Justice, Deborah Poritz, to administer the oath of office to our next Attorney General, Peter Venero.
Let me help you. I, Peter Venero,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Attorney General
perform all the duties of the office of Attorney General
of New Jersey
of New Jersey
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Governor Whitman, Chief Justice Poritz, Justice Handler, members of the Supreme Court, Senate President DeFrancesco, Assembly Speaker Collins, the Cabinet, other judges, honored guests, family, and friends. Justice Handler, this is like a double wedding, which is why, feeling a bit anxious the other night, I called up Deborah Poritz and said, let's elope. She said no. I would like to add my voice to the chorus of individuals acknowledging the former Chief Justice, Robert Wilentz. I am fortunate that my experience as a law clerk to the state Supreme Court enabled me to see firsthand the dedication and record of service of the former Chief Justice. Throughout his tenure, he maintained the highest professional standards for himself and the entire state judicial system, which stands today as a model for the nation. That system is now in the hands of a new Chief Justice, Deborah Poritz. I know her well. She is a person of total integrity, keen intellect, and utmost professionalism. On behalf of her former department, the Department of Law and Public Safety, I congratulate the new Chief Justice on reaching the pinnacle of her career. For me, this is an occasion simply to say thank you to the people who have made this day possible. I must start by thanking the Governor of New Jersey, Christy Whitman. Her leadership has inspired not only me, but every person who's ever had the privilege of working closely with her. It has been my deepest honor to serve this governor since the start of her administration as Chief Counsel and then as Chief of Staff. In nominating me as the state's Attorney General, the governor once again demonstrated a faith and confidence in me that is as humbling as it is gratifying. Governor, I will try always to maintain the trust you have so consistently and generously reposed in me. I wish also to thank the Senate President, Don DeFrancesco, members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, including its chairman, Bill Gormley, and the entire Senate for confirming me. Thank you as well to Assembly Speaker Jack Collins for his support and for the use of this historic chamber for these ceremonies. The governor and legislature have singled out law and public safety issues as paramount to the health and future of New Jersey. As Attorney General, I will work to continue the progress made in providing safer streets and a better quality of life for our citizens. Like my predecessors, I hope to bring to the Department of Law and Public Safety the same level of honest lawyering, effective management, and service to the public that has always been the hallmark of this most critical state agency. In the audience today are professors, lawyers, and others who shaped my background and who each added a layer of development to the person I have become. You know who you are. I appreciate you more than you know, certainly more than I have ever said. I also appreciate and wish to thank my former staff in the governor's office, the persons who served and continue to serve with such fine distinction in the front office. This is my formal goodbye to them. It also reminds me of a story. And I see Senator Gormley saying, oh my gosh, a story. When I arrived at the State House 2.5 years ago, I did what many newcomers do. I made appointments to speak with my predecessors, both Democrats and Republicans, to get their advice and counsel. And what struck me was the similarity of that counsel and advice, which I could summarize by stating 2 rules. This is a true story. Rule number 1, always be true to your principles, because they are the best guide for an honest public official. Rule number 2, always be nice to Carl Golden, the press secretary. As Attorney General, of course, I will continue to follow rule number 1. But as Attorney General, Carl, I'm not sure that rule number 2 applies to me anymore. Seriously, I applaud the governor's choice of Harriet Durman as my successor in the Chief of Staff position, and the governor's selection of Michael Torpey as Harriet's successor in the Chief Counsel position, and her recent choice of Eileen McGinnis as Chief of Policy and Planning. I leave the governor's office knowing it is in the very best of hands. Turning to my new department and office, I thank the division directors and other members of the department and senior staff who have expressed their support and confidence in me as I assume my new role. I am looking forward to working with each of you in the important time ahead. Last, but by no means least, I thank my wife, Lisa, my daughter, my parents, my brother who traveled from Tokyo to be here today, and my sister. Without the total and unselfish support of my family, none of this, and I do mean none of it, would be possible. For that, I am perhaps most grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with humility and deep respect for the office of Attorney General that I assume my new position. I am ready to go to work. Thank you.